using free speech or the fact that words don't have meaning, which doesn't make any sense at all, in order to justify you saying terrible and abhorrent things online in order to gain clout and popularity is one of the most pathetic and loser-esque things you could ever do on the internet. What's up everybody, what's on the menu? Back again with another video, and this time we're here to talk about disgraced content creator ChudtheBuilder and his recent shooting. Before we get into the meat and potatoes of this video, don't forget to like the video if you like it, don't if you don't, and as always, if you like more social media and pop culture related topics like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And without further ado, let's get started. Problematic content creator ChudtheBuilder was involved in a shooting in front of a courthouse on Wednesday, May 13th in Clarksville, Tennessee, and received an attempted murder charge as a result.
New this morning, a live streamer known for racist, derogatory content and antagonizing people in public is now facing an attempted murder charge after a confrontation between he and another man ended with both being wounded by gunfire. Both men are expected to survive. Now, the shooting happened outside a Tennessee courthouse in Clarksville. The 28-year-old social media influencer Dalton Etherly is also charged with theft in a prior case from Nashville. Authorities did not identify the other person involved or what led to the shooting, but Etherly is known for posting rage-bait content, repeatedly using racial slurs and challenging people to fight him. 2
days after the initial incident, on Friday, May 15th, Chud had his arraignment. During Chud's arraignment and bond hearing, General Session Court Judge Reed Poland III set a $1.25 million bond.
Good morning, Mr. Etherly. Good morning. Mr. Etherly's on bond apparently on several other matters when this matter was allegedly committed. I'm looking at an A and really a super D, a C, really 3 C's and an A really for tracking kind of purposes. It's pretty serious.
Your Honor mentioned criminal homicide. I thought that was attempted.
I said, did I say homicide? I meant to say attempted criminal homicide if I didn't.
Okay,
I
understood.
thought I did, but that's still an A felony.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So we're gonna have a bail
I'm
hearing.
gonna set just a bond right now. After we have our bail hearing, then I'll let you make all the arguments. We can go through all the factors in the statute and see if that gets amended up or down. Okay.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to set initial bond at 1.25 million, based upon the fact of how many people were in the courtyard, were here at the courthouse, and the seriousness of all these felonies, and his bond status.
For anybody who hasn't had the displeasure of hearing about ChudtheBuilder before this incident, he's a content creator who's been making his rounds on live streaming platforms like Kick and has been harassing black people and other people of color in order to get a reaction out of them.
Somebody get him a banana. He's chimping out. Come on over here and chimp out. He chimping out. He said, what's the...
His typical method of harassment was to go up to either a black person or a group of black people and ask them if free speech was okay and then proceed to say something that was offensive towards black people. If the black person or black people were to object to what he's saying and saying what he uttered to them was offensive in any way, shape, or form, he'd tell them to stop overreacting or say something along the lines of stop chimping out, which is incredibly offensive, in addition to whatever slur or inappropriate thing he would say to the black person or group of black people. And when he would continue to antagonize these people and speak down on them and tell them that they aren't allowed to feel upset or angry based off of the words that he's uttering at them, he would typically threaten violence upon the person or group of people by saying he has a firearm or he has pepper spray and he's willing to use it if necessary and unnecessarily escalate the situation. But a lot of times people didn't really bite into this rage-baity type of content because they knew that they didn't want any trouble to come out of the situation because they knew this person was just trying to get a reaction out of them. But unfortunately, there were a few people who were emotionally riled up enough from the rage bait who decided to do something physically about the situation in the way Chud was disrespecting them and being openly racist. The person involved in Chud's most recent content creating antics was disabled Army veteran Joshua Nix, who suffers from PTSD. YouTuber Poetic Flocko goes over some of the details that led up to the shooting, as well as Chud's testimonial to the police after the shooting.
So Chud told the police, he walked up to the veteran told him, hey man, I got PTSD. According to Chud himself, the veteran told him, please don't call me the N-word. Please don't say I'm chimping out. Please, I got PTSD. And Chud thought it was a wise idea to further antagonize somebody who told him they got PTSD.
I walked past him, he was sitting on the corner. I walked up to him because they're pointing at me. They're laughing, they're pointing at me, and I said, what's up guys, how y'all doing? I said, y'all like the new suit? He said, walk away from me. I walked away from him. He came back up to me. He literally said, I have PTSD, I feel like I'm in. He said, you start saying all that chimp out shit to me, I'm gonna hit you. He hit me, started wailing on me, even after I had to defend myself by shooting him. He's still wailing on me.
This idiot thought he could talk himself out of an arrest. Are you dumb? All you're doing is giving the police more information. You deliberately leaving out what happened after he told you not to do it. Dude said, I got PTSD, I feel like I'm in danger. Please don't do the things you're about to do. We know you. Please don't call me the N-word. Please don't say the chip and stuff. You know what he did? He then says the dude went from saying that to then punching him right after. He doesn't say that he actually said those things after the dude told him, I got PTSD, I feel like I'm in danger, please don't do it. He then did it, but left out those details as if there's not footage. I told y'all before, there were people recording from the window. The police got the footage. And you know how I know? Because I got the footage. Chud really thought this was his moment to catch a free body on a black dude, then come back online and pop it further and now be a hero for the racist community. That's not how it worked out. It was never gonna work out this way.
Due to the fact that Joshua Nix has a documented case of PTSD, he's aware of the triggers that causes PTSD to go haywire, and he's able to warn people beforehand so they can stop any actions that may trigger it further. With Joshua Nix informing ChudtheBuilder that whatever he may do next and whatever actions he has perpetuated in the past could result in triggering his PTSD, he's basically creating a protective shield for himself, as well as letting ChudtheBuilder know that, hey, if you continue on this path, whatever happens next isn't completely in my control. So if ChudtheBuilder was warned beforehand by Joshua Nix that his PTSD could be triggered by the words that he utters, and he continues to go on the path that triggers his PTSD, that is completely ChudtheBuilder's fault, and anything that happens after that is completely on him. For those of you who have served in the armed forces or know anyone who's served in the armed forces, know that PTSD is something that should not be taken lightly, and it can seriously mess with the mental health of the person it's afflicting. For those of you who don't know, this is a breakdown of what PTSD actually is. Post-traumatic stress disorder, also known as PTSD, is a mental health condition triggered by experiences or witnessing a terrifying, life-threatening, or harmful event. Symptoms typically include flashbacks, severe anxiety, and uncontrollable thoughts about the event. With proper professional care, such as trauma-focused therapy and medication, recovery is highly possible. Causes and risk factors of PTSD often result from traumatic experiences such as military combat, physical or sexual assault, serious accidents, natural disasters, or childhood abuse. I want to read out the definition of PTSD as well as the cause and risk factors, because it's important to know that this man was basically telling Chud that, hey, my head is not in the right place right now, and I'm severely damaged by things that happened in my past, so do not continue to mess with me. This man is basically telling ChudtheBuilder that, hey, I'm recovering from a very stressful scenario, a very mentally damaging scenario, and I want you to please take that in mind before you continue to do what you're doing. And even while giving Chud this information, he still proceeds to mess with this individual, resulting in a shooting and him getting an attempted murder charge. It's good that Chud's actions are finally catching up to him, because he's been doing something like this for quite some time now on social media in order to try and gain buzz and popularity. I've said this before in other videos about people like Clavicular and Sneeko, but using free speech or the fact that words don't have meaning, which doesn't make any sense at all, in order to justify you saying terrible and abhorrent things online in order to gain clout and popularity is one of the most pathetic and loser-esque things you could ever do on the internet. Thankfully, no one died from the situation, but I just want to give my 2 cents on the whole scenario and what this says about social media as a whole. I've avoided talking about ChudtheBuilder for quite some time, as I've been aware of his antics for a few months now. I've seen the videos, I've seen the clips. They make their rounds on social media every now and again, and they pop up on my feed, and unfortunately I watch them and I get only enraged at seeing the stuff that he does. As a black person watching his clips online, it infuriates me to see that someone can go around antagonizing black people for the sake of free speech or content, if you want to call it that, and basically antagonize people while trying to get a reaction out of them, and even force a physical altercation if it escalates to that point, which it unfortunately has. Social media algorithms are trained to basically give the people more of what they feed into, so if someone's making videos or content based off of hate or trying to get a reaction out of people and it happens to garner attention, whether it be positive or negative, those type of videos are going to perpetuate online and continue to do views and continue to circulate and reach the eyes of several more people, if not hundreds more, if not thousands, millions. You get the idea. I feel like it's quite odd how social media is able to filter out things that it doesn't want to show on its platforms, like drugs, sex, violence, things of that nature. But when it comes to racism towards black people, it is a tough time filtering that stuff out or getting rid of it entirely, to the point where people are able to create whole platforms where they monetize their content on harassing black people, and they call it a form of entertainment. And to all the social media apps out there who were able to platform ChudtheBuilder and his content, I can't imagine on any other social media platform where I walk around saying I hate a certain group of people that's not black people and have my channel blow up to have thousands of people who subscribe to my channel or have my videos be monetizable. I can't imagine that being a reality. Chud has been able to make videos like this antagonizing black people for months now, I think even almost a year, to the point where he's been able to monetize his channel on Kick and earn a living off of harassing black people for content. And I hate having to use the word content as what he was doing, because it was just straight up harassment, but he was filming it. It was just filming harassment. I don't get how that's considered content. A lot of these algorithms are trained to siphon certain material out from the eyes of the viewers who are going to watch it, and the fact that stuff like this was able to just circulate on the internet without any opposition, or I guess without much opposition, it kind of just shows how lopsided the filtering process is on these social media apps. If certain things are able to be filtered out without question or without any problems, but other things that aren't necessarily things that they focus on too much can slip through the cracks and be seen by a lot more people. ChudtheBuilder isn't the first racist content creator to have a come up off of social media, and unfortunately I can't see him being the last. Stuff like this happens all the time on social media. There's white people who get off on saying the N-word and they make it their whole brand, or there's other people who I have no proof of this, and this is just all a hypothetical, but I have an inkling that if there was a content creator out there who is making a bunch of content harassing a certain group of people and calling them derogatory names that wasn't black people, that their channel would be taken down a lot sooner than ChudtheBuilder has, and they wouldn't even have a platform to be monetizing this in the first place, and they wouldn't even gain even half the popularity that ChudtheBuilder has by doing what he was doing. What sickens me even more about this whole situation is that there are people who are championing ChudtheBuilder and say that he was doing a noble thing, and they like the content he was putting out. Not only that, he had a GoFundMe that he put up after he lost his job because he was saying derogatory and disgusting things about black people, kind of as like a free speech and words aren't really that big of a deal type of thing. And the GoFundMe has already been paid for and then some. So it just doesn't make sense to me that people continuously to fuel hate against another group of people, and I don't know why they wouldn't want a better version of the world, and I don't know why you would actively campaign to talk down and negatively about a certain group of people, especially when on video it proves that when they're antagonized, they don't resort to violence as the first thing they want to resolve an issue. They're trying to talk things out, remedy the situation without having it become a violent instance. But meanwhile, the person who has ideas and claims that black people are all violent and they're vicious animals is the one going around taunting them with a gun and throwing slurs at them, which I don't know. I think if that's someone that you're championing and someone that you follow as a content creator, you really need to look at yourself and reevaluate how you think about things and how you go about the world. But I just want to give my 2 cents. All in all, I think it's a good thing that ChudtheBuilder is finally put away in jail and has to face the consequences of his actions. He has a $1.2 million bond that he probably won't get reached unless some rich benefactor bails him out for whatever reason, and I don't know why they would do that in the first place, because that's bad PR for you if you're trying to bail out a racist guy who shot a black guy who was an armed services veteran with PTSD. That doesn't look good on anybody. And if you're someone who, like ChudtheBuilder, as a content creator, and you're hoping that he gets out and you think that justice system has it against him, I honestly think you need your head checked. I know that sounds mean, but you honestly need your head checked out, because I'm going to say this, and I'm probably going to continue to say this on the channel, but I think racism is a mental illness, because I have no idea how in your right mind you can see a group of people, boil them down to X, Y, and Z stereotype and think that you're better than them. That is just weirdo behavior through and through. You need your head checked if you're racist. Please see a doctor. I beg of you. All in all, what do you guys think of the whole ChudtheBuilder situation? Do you think it's good that he's finally ended up behind bars and he's going to serve time for the consequences of his actions? Or do you think that this whole situation is blown out of proportion and he was defending himself with self-defense? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Deuces.